Okay, so we're going to take a look at roofs and how to kind of manipulate them. They're pretty easy, but they can also get complicated as you try to add some detail. So you can see here I've got a roof created already. It's just a real basic roof. Standard roofs will always have an overhang unless you're creating some sort of parapet wall. Overhangs are more common than parapets on houses, but that's something you should take a look into. A parapet versus an overhang, you'll never have a roof and a wall meet at a corner. It's just there's no good waterproofing there, but that's a little bit more in depth. So if I want to restart this roof here, I'll show you how this works. So we can do this in 3D, or if you have a roof level setup, you'll go to architecture and you'll go to roof. You can see there's some different options here of things you can pick, but for now we'll just go to roof by footprint. So you can either do a box, you can use the select line command. I can select these lines on the walls, but for now we'll go with just a standard box. So just go ahead and start that and then hit check, and that will give you your roof. So we will go ahead and delete this other one. So to get it set up here, if I go to my elevation, you'll see that I have set up a roof level. When you create a roof, it'll ask you for your base level, so you can pick the roof level here. If you want your roof lower, you can either add adjustments in the offset property. So if I want it 5 feet lower, I can do that. You can see that's the second level. If I want it higher, I can do 5 feet above my roof level. So you can see that's ways to align it. If you know you want it on your second level, you can just come here, pick level 2, and it'll move down for you. But we're going to leave that at the roof for right now. After you create your roof, you'll see that there's an arrow at the top. That's essentially where this is following the guidelines of your slopes. So as you move this up and down, you'll see it's following my slopes. This is a good way to kind of manipulate how your roof is going to be. So you just have a couple different options here. I wouldn't recommend using this to change your slopes. You'll get some really weird angles. So if you come in and edit your roof, you'll see that they have little triangles here. That means that these lines define a slope. So if I want to create like a gable roof, I'll select 2 lines here, and then at the top in this green bar, you'll see it says define slopes. You'll also have an option here in your properties. So if you just uncheck that and then click OK, you'll see now I have a gable roof. You can also edit it if you want a flat slope roof. Just turn your define slopes off on that one, leave one turned on, and now you have a flat roof. And you'll notice that the defined slope is going to be the lower end. You can see here. So that's one way to do it. Again, it's going to give you the arrow. You can change your slope this way. The proper way to change your slope, if you click on a line that is defining the slope, you'll see it's giving me what the slope is here. This is a 3 to 12 slope. It's kind of rounding up because I was changing it manually here. So you can see now I've got a 2 by 107 128 inch slope. That is not a good slope to have. You want to stick to whole inches. So we'll go ahead and we'll change that to like 5. So now I have a 5-inch slope, and there we go. So when you're modeling, let's say you have a roof like this, obviously, your walls are going to maintain some sort of definition to them, but let's say you want your walls to obviously go to the bottom of the roof. So to make sure that that happens, you want to click on all the walls that you want to connect to the roof, and you'll come up here towards the top and you'll see it'll say detach top bottom base, or attach to top, or attach top or bottom, top or base to your roof. So I want to go ahead and attach these walls, so I'll just click this and then I'll click the roof I want to attach them to, and now you can see that my walls are now attached to the roof. So that is a good tool to use. This wall should also be attached here, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now you can see it's going to give you that nice clean line there. So if you're changing your roof and you don't want certain walls to be connected, you can just click attach, or excuse me, you want to click detach and then just click on the roof you're detaching from, and it'll go back to its original location. I can also, if I raise this wall up through the roof, and I want to attach the base now to the top of the roof, you just click on the attach command, come up here to the little green bar, and make sure you select base. This will tell the wall that I'm not attaching the top here, I'm attaching the base, and I will click that, and now you'll see that my base is now attached. So we'll go ahead and undo that. So if you're modeling and maybe your walls are a little bit too high, same kind of thing, you click on it, click attach, and then attach, and it'll cut off the top piece and just attach it to the bottom of the roof. So now that we've got that kind of defined as to how to attach walls, define your slopes, change the layout of your roof, go ahead and define the slope here again, and you can see that once I do that, the walls are going to maintain that attach relationship. So if you're changing your roof to a different kind of shape, as long as they're attached previously, they'll follow that same plane of the roof. So now if we go into the south elevation, you can see that my roof, the end of my roof has this flat fascia. More times than not, we'll put a fascia here with a kind of like the beginning of a soffit. And so a way to do that is if you click on your roof, you'll see under your properties here, you'll see a construction column, and under that you'll see Rafter Cut. And essentially what that means is this piece right here is a rafter. I can change my roof to show a roof material and then the structure. And if you're gonna not put a soffit here, you can add a material under your structure to go along the bottom here. So if you go into your properties, construction, Rafter Cut, I want to change this to have the beginnings of a soffit right here. So what I'll do is I'll come in here and I will change my Rafter Cut to a 2-cut plumb, and I apply, and you can see that it is now cut off the bottom, and rather than it being a face here, it has now created a face at the bottom for me. So standard, you want to try to add a fascia to your roof. It just has a nice clean look to it. If you're designing a house, you'll see a lot of times people have trim right at the end of their roof, and that's a fascia. So to create that is, I have a fascia depth of 0, so obviously it's giving me a point. But if I were to come in here and add say a 6-inch fascia, hit apply, and now you'll see that it's giving me my 6-inch cut here, and then it's gonna square up the bottom just based on whatever size you put here. So if I click that and I change this to a 4, you'll see this bottom piece is going to get bigger because obviously my fascia is smaller. So that's just some ways to change the detailing of your roof. Pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of complicated moves with roofs. You can obviously add structure to them to show certain things. Like this one is a 6-inch a 2x6 rafter, and then you can see I have a plywood sheathing on top of it, and then an asphalt shingle. If I were to cut a section, go to view, make sure you turn on fine, you'll see that now you can see my structure, my sheathing, and then my roof material. And we've talked about this in walls before. If you open up your roof, go into your structure to this menu, and you hit preview, you'll be able to see those layers in your roof without having to, click OK, apply, go to a section and look at it. You can do it all in one view. So if I wanted this to be a 2x8, just hit apply, OK, and you'll see that it changed. It's going to be really hard for you to tell, but it changed the thickness of that. We'll change the yellow sheathing, and the reason it's yellow is because that is what the material is defined as. It's a wood material, obviously, so the basic color for that material is this kind of yellow color. So I'll go ahead and change it to 1 inch. You can see that grew even more dramatically, 4 inches. So you see, as you make changes here, you can see what it will look like without having to go in and out of this menu. So we'll go ahead and change that back. And apply, and you'll see, if you saw there, my roof got a little bit larger because of the rafter size. But that's a pretty basic overview of roofs. Again, if you want a flat roof, you just go in and you can change the slopes. If I don't want any slopes at all, just uncheck define and then leave it, and you see I've got a flat roof there. All roofs will have some sort of slope to it, whether it's sloping to the middle for a drain if you've got parapets up the sides, or maybe you've got parapets on 3 sides and you're draining to the back. That'd be more for commercial applications, but this is where you would change your slopes. So if I want to change that again, you just click on the line you want a slope and then define slope. So that's an overview of how roofs work. If you have any questions about how they work, or maybe you're running into an issue, we can try to figure that out for you. There are definitely a lot more commands with roofs. You can see there's a bunch of options. We have extrusions, roof by face, all these different things. Real quickly before we end, I will show you how to connect roofs. You'll notice a lot of residential houses will have different roofs on them. If we get the second roof added, I'll just make sure that is like this. If I go to my roof plan, and then I will add another roof here. Just a real quick roof. Okay, and if I go to my 3D, I want to make sure that my roof is again on the same level, just for this design. I will change my plumb cut, 4 inches. Okay, you'll see that obviously the roofs are not aligning. That's not an issue. So I'll just extend this out so you can get a better understanding of how this works. I want this to be a gable, so I will remove the 2 slopes on these skinny ends here. So now you can see I've got another roof. So if this is, let's say, a covered porch here, you're going to want this roof to connect. So all you have to do is you make sure you can see both your roofs in the 3D view. Click on your roof. That'll bring you up a bunch of the like movement commands. There's a little icon up here that says join unjoin roofs. If you click on that, you will click on the roof that you want to connect to another roof. So if I want this to connect to here, I will click on this edge first. So if I just click on this line, you'll see it's just giving me one of these lines. It doesn't matter which one. If you select that, and then you come over here and select the face you're wanting to attach to, it will now attach that roof and create that nice clean line for you. If I were not to do that, and I were to unjoin that roof, and I came in and I extended the roof manually, you'll see that now I've kind of got this roof merging with another roof, and the program's not really noticing that they're merging, so you're not going to get a line here. Again, it's just a really quick fix if you just use the roof join command. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So roofs can be complicated, but if you're just adding them and not really making a whole lot of significant changes, they should be pretty easy to work with. So that's our actual legit final overview of roofs. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, and I will do my best to try to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.